Oh shit! Yes, that's really fucked up. Yep.
What do you mean? Yes, you just acquiesced that quickly, John. Does it say that on your screen, or are you just like, okay?
Oh, I had Sunday like an idiot.
All right, it adds up. Week 14 in the Always Sunday Football Podcast, joined as I always am by Anthony. Fresh, styling. Welcome.
Appreciate it.
Just hit a home run. Yeah. Jonny, welcome to the program. How you doing?
Doing so.
He's stealing third. He's stealing.
Both of you guys are giving out signs. I'm not really sure how to interpret that.
Glasses, so we can, if I get my glasses right now, me and John could be cousins.
It's, you know what? You're not wrong.
I fucking know I'm not wrong.
It's very true. The picks last week were not super swell. We could just get right into that right now. Anthony, do you remember how you went last week?
Oh, I did a Moneyline Madness, and I know for sure it sucked. So
fair enough. Did you win any of your legs?
I wrote it down here, up here. Bucks, which they lost, right? Yeah, Bucks lost. Arizona lost, and the Chargers. So I got the Chargers.
1 out of 3. Fair enough. Yeah, John won 1 out of 3. He had the Jets plus 9.5, but the Vikings wrong and the Giants wrong. Giants plus 7 wrong. I also had the Vikings wrong and the Jets right, but the Chiefs wrong. They did not cover the 9-point spread. Moving on. I haven't liked the board in a couple of weeks, really, where I was like, okay, I can really like sink my teeth into a bunch of picks. This week, I feel like there's a handful of picks that I can really like dive into. I looked at the board before we got on, and a few picks jumped out at me. I wonder if I'll feel the same way once we talk about them. And we'll start.
We tend to mess with your sometimes.
I've never shown to be great at picking games, so I'm not going to blame it on anything that happens on this or any other. The thing is, I think we made it very clear at the beginning that none of what we say should be considered advice of any kind.
Oh, no.
Thursday, 8:15, San Francisco 49ers visiting the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks 3.5-point home dogs, 43.5-point over under.
I'm going to take the points with San Fran. Seattle's defense can't stop an absolute nosebleed. And if Seattle ain't pulling up points, I mean, they're getting absolutely blown out. San Fran's offensive line, that they're going to run the football right down their throat. 49ers take this game very easily. Give me the points with this game, and also give me the over. Both these teams can score, so I like the over.
I agree. I mean, Niners have just been playing lights out. I mean, Purdy. Okay, it's looking Purdy out there. But I could see the Seahawks though, like, being upsetting us. But I have to take the Niners with the points, and I'll take the over as well.
I agree with you guys. Niners and the points. It would have to be a much bigger number for me not to lay it against that Seahawk team. I don't know about the over though, so I'll go with the under just because the Niners defense is super duper good. So maybe the Seahawks just completely get stomped out, and the Niners could score 28, 30 points, and the Seahawks just get completely stomped out.
And no Debo.
No Debo. Exactly. Purdy's been really good. He's been competent. Yeah, he has. And that coaching staff, it's the perfect coaching staff and the perfect system and the perfect cast of skill positions.
Oh, for sure. Like, you lose Debo and you're like, normal people are like, oh my God. But they're just fine. You have Ayuk, you have McCaffrey that will just do exactly that.
And Kittle, they're throwing down the field more with Purdy than they were with. It seems like they trust his arm a little more. They know his arm.
I think Murray's legs first, then he was arm, and then with Purdy, it's arm first, obviously.
Garoppolo, you mean?
I'm sorry, yeah, Garoppolo rather. He's like,
hey, you're getting ahead of yourself.
I know. I was already knowing because we have it. But Garoppolo, I don't know. I mean, like, he was never that guy. He's in a great offense, and he's just good enough,
Yeah, he was the ultimate game manager who was, you knew, could not get you over the hump. He could get you to the place, but he couldn't get it done when it counted. Like, there's no way he was gonna. Although, I mean, there were situations where
he could bring you to the promised land, but
right,
he ain't gonna take you there.
If you think about it, like, every year most people don't even start. Like, he's always on waivers. I don't think he's just that guy that's like,
Well, for fantasy, yeah, no, he's never really been that guy for fantasy. He's made it to, I believe he played in a Super Bowl, but he ended up not being able to close it out. And that's been the problem with Jimmy G, is that he's not a quarterback who's just going to like put the team on his back, dude. You know what I mean? He's no Greg Jennings. So I'm gonna go and lay those points. Brock Purdy, Big Cock Brock. Saturday games for no apparent reason. Can somebody explain this to me? Is there a reason? Did anybody hear anything? Is that the real? So they're just like, all right, no more college football. Fuck it, Saturday games.
Yeah.
NFL, man, NFL is king. Vikings at home hosting the Colts. Vikings spreads have been all over the place, as have the Vikings. They just lost, and now they are 4-point favorites hosting the Colts with a 48.5-point over under. I mean, let's go back to Jonny because it's the Vikings. Where do you stand, pal?
Oh man, the Vikings has just been absolutely just very up and down, but can they get it right finally with this game? I mean, Jeff Saturday finally is getting exposed as a pretty young coach that still learning the ropes. The Vikings, I'm going to take the points with this, not really confidently, but I'm going to go with the under with this game.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with him there. The Vikings have just been like you said, up and down. You don't know if they're going to win or not, or what they're going to do, and their record is deceiving. But they could put up, like, Justin Jefferson is an absolute savage monster, and that's the reason why I think they're in this game. It's still in it. So I'll lay the points, and I will take the unders because I think what?
Dalvin Cook.
Well, you can't forget about him, but like Justin, it's like nobody could stop this dude. I think he had like one bad performance this year.
He maybe one or two, but yeah, no, he's an absolute freak of nature. This game makes me nervous because it's only a 4-point spread, so I feel the Vikings should be able to cover that. 48.5-point over under. I don't know. It just, something about this game says to me that the Vikings just completely smash, like blow up, score 48 points by themselves. And people are like, oh, no. The Vikings are for real again. The Vikings are for real again. Like, it's just like, but I don't think their defense is good, which means that the Colts can score. So let me have the Vikings and the over. No, you know what? Give me the Colts and the over. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun and see some sort of backdoor cover situation because the Colts can score in this one. And let's rock. Let's rock.
Jeff Saturday on Saturday.
Oh my God. Thank you for reminding me. The best headline that I saw on Twitter this week was Jeff Saturday would like to return as head coach. Headline: Jeff Saturday would like to return as head coach of the Colts in 2023. Hold on to your hats, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, right? No fucking shit.
Wow.
No. I sat there, looked at the headline, and repeated the line, no fucking shit, for
he's like, you know what?
23 straight minutes.
2 or 3 times. That's not for me, guys. I'm like, what?
He was like, I don't know, man. Yeah, this was fun, but good luck, fellas. Good luck, guys. You know, you guys were great out there. It was a blast. Thank you. That was a real fun time, Mr. Ursay. I'll see you at the bar. Like, no fucking shit. You know what? So would I, bud. So would I. I would also like to return as head coach of the Colts in 2023.
Oh, man.
Jesus Christ. It's like such a clown show. Cleveland Browns at home, 3-point favorites, hosting the Baltimore Ravens, who are pretty banged up. No Lamar. The backup Huntley is banged up as well. 38.5-point over under. Anthony, you got any feels on this game before we get to Jonny and his Browns? He's just like chomping at the bit.
Yeah. That 38.5, I think they just did that for you. Like, just come on, come reach it. Come on, touch this 38.5.
I think it's because the Ravens are badly banged up right now, honestly.
For sure, but like 38.5 is one of those ones where you're like, you know what? I could see the Ravens scoring a little bit, and then the Browns like, But I'm gonna take the under, and I'll take the Browns laying the points.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson hasn't really looked like Deshaun Watson. I think that's going to take him the rest of this year to kind of shake off that rust. However, with that being said, I do have Cleveland pulling this game out, but I'm going to go with the points with Baltimore. They keep this game close. This is both these teams are.
John, this is erroneous. Just take money line.
No, I am not taking the money line. I'm going with the points with Baltimore, and I'm going to go with the under.
You may as well. I mean, I kind of almost agree with Anthony, but because I'm getting plus money to lay 3 points with the Browns, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that. I'm going to lay the 3 points with the Browns there for plus 100, which I feel like you don't really see a lot.
Yeah,
that's definitely going in
typo.
my parlay. That is going in my parlay right there.
Is that a typo? You normally don't.
I don't know if it's. Yeah, I'm just noticing that now. I'm going to go ahead and jump on that. That's a little weird to me that they because the thing is, I'm not going to take the Ravens if I'm only getting 3 points in this one. 3 isn't quite enough. If it was 3.5, maybe 4, and now we're talking this plus 100 for the -3. I think that makes it a bad bet, but I'm betting it because I'm stupid.
No,
and then
in the spread situation,
and I'll take the over. I'll take the over just because more points is more fun. Saturday night, Buffalo Bills. This hopefully should be a good game, but Vegas doesn't seem to think so. Buffalo Bills are at home, 7.5-point favorites to the Miami Dolphins, who just got beat. 42-point over under. John, the Dolphins Bills, 7.5 points.
Yeah, that weather's pretty bad. Watching that the Jets Buffalo game, that weather's terrible out in Buffalo. So I think both these teams struggle to score points again. Like, it's just a terrible place to play football, man. I mean, it's like going back to like 1970s football where it's like 3-6. That's what type of game it's going to be. Both of these teams are high-scoring teams, but I think that both teams struggle to score some points just because of where they're at. I'm going to go with the points with Miami, and I'm going to go with the under very easily.
Make some good points there, John. I know the weather's bad, and it's not going to be great this weekend either. But for me, I don't know. I think 42 is just too low for me with these two teams. So I'm going to take the over there. And I think Buffalo, we came into this year thinking that they were just going to like light up every team, and they haven't. They've lit up some teams. So I will take Miami getting 7.5.
I also will take the points with Miami. I think 7.5 might be a little too much. Is it supposed to be? Are we for sure that it's going to be bad weather? Or can you guys confirm
cold
that?
weather.
Cold weather out there. Yeah,
it's going to be cold because I know that it was like snowy and shitty this past week. No,
it was. I mean, like I've heard questionable weather. I didn't really. I know it's going to obviously be cold because whatever, but I don't know if it's just for cold, rain this week or something. You know, somebody had messaged me where like I'm staying away weather. I'll have to check the forecast. You know what? While we're chatting, I'll check the forecast.
I'm going to take Miami with the points. If it's bad weather like rain, snow, I'm taking the under. If it's reasonable weather, just cold, I'm taking the over.
40% by the way.
Over.
And 17-mile-an-hour winds.
Over.
17-mile-an-hour winds? Where are you reading?
17-mile-an-hour
I'm looking at Saturday. It says chance of sleet.
Oh shit! Yes, that's really fucked up. Yep.
What do you mean? Yes, you just acquiesced that quickly, John. Does it say that on your screen, or are you just like okay?
Oh, I had Sunday like an idiot.
All right, that adds up. So now we're talking about sleet. Miami with the points.
16-mile-an-hour wind.
Well, the wind isn't as much of an issue to me, but if it's sleet, give me Miami and the under. Sunday, 1:00, Jets, Lions, which actually should be a pretty good game. You wouldn't have thought that at the beginning of the year, I don't think. You might have hoped it, Johnny. But what do you think about the Jets being 1-point home favorites with a 44-point over-under, John?
Yeah, this game is going to be a really, really close game, but the Jets defense has actually been showing up. And Mike White has shown some big heart. The Detroit Lions defense is not as good. So I think that I'm going to take the Jets with the points, but I'm going to go with the over. There's going to be some points scored in this game. Definitely, obviously, I'm a Jets fan, so I'll definitely be watching this game, but there's going to be some fireworks in this game for sure.
Anthony?
I mean, I agree. I think this is going to be the hot Lions, man. Like, they couldn't stop anybody scoring, but they can't be stopped when it comes to scoring. They just keep scoring. You got Jamal Williams on that most touchdowns this year as a running back. So I think the Jets get put to test this week. You know, they did play the Bills two times, won one, lost one. But this is another big test for them. He's got a lot of firepower. And they just got another guy back, one of their receivers who scored a touchdown last week. So give me Detroit here with that point. If they're getting a point, I'll take that. There's no positive points situation here as far as spread. So I'll take the over 44.
So you both think that the Lions are just going to put up points on that Jets defense, huh?
No, not necessarily. I think they're both.
Think the Jets
You're not stopping the Jets from scoring, but the question is, can the Jets stop them enough? But I think it goes over 44. I think this game could be 20, 24, 21.
All right.
Yeah,
I will
doing those like these Lions come in and score 30 plus. I'm not there. I don't think they're doing that on the Jets, but I still don't think you're not going to completely stop them. So
I'll take the Jets in the under, just because I think maybe this game ends up being a little lower scoring than people think, and the Lions struggle to score, and the Jets just aren't putting up points like crazy. Cowboys, Jaguars at home, 4.5-point dogs with a 47.5 point over under. Jacksonville, Jonny, your boy Trevor is starting to look pretty sharp.
do not say that name, John.
T-Law.
No. Anthony, how do you feel about this? Jonny, you're done. That's it. You're over. No, John, you've been deleted. You've been deleted from the Jaguars portion of this podcast, just like Travis Etienne has been deleted from the Jaguars offense.
He said T-Law. To me, that means he's going Jaguars money line.
That's so.
Is that what you're doing?
Me, I'm no. I was just saying. That's
No,
what he
John.
said. Are you doing that?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go money line. I'm going to go money line Jacksonville. The reason why I'm going to say that is Dallas hasn't really looked good the last 2 weeks. They really haven't. Like, they have been playing really mediocre. And I think that they get a little
Didn't they just put up 40?
What?
Didn't they just put up 40 on somebody?
Yeah, it was Indy.
With
2 weeks.
Houston.
And no, Houston.
No, Houston, it was a close game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That was last week. That was probably what John's talking about. He's like, oh, man, they couldn't really beat Houston up.
Yeah, they really couldn't beat Houston up. I mean, like, Jacksonville has been playing a lot better. They're a team that's kind of up and coming. And Dallas is kind of like – they're one of the most penalized teams in the NFL. So I think Jacksonville pulls us out. But give me money line on this one. Why not?
Interesting. Anthony, go.
I am a gambler. But to me, I can't take the money line on Jacksonville, but I will take them getting 4.5. I'll take that because they have been looking much better these past few weeks consistently, where they were choppy up and down. The only problem is finding out which receiver is going to be the guy this week. But yeah, give me the Jaguars getting those points, and I will take the over here. I think both of these teams could hit 30.
I can see an over. I'll do Jacksonville in the over with you. That sounds good. That sounds good. I don't know. I mean, I think the Cowboys can score, man, and their defense is really, really good. It's just which Cowboys team shows up. They're very sort of hot and cold to me. They can definitely run. Dak still makes me nervous.
He does.
The Texans, man. The Texans covered that 17-point spread. Good for them last week.
That's why they didn't make it higher. So that's why they didn't make it higher against the Chiefs.
It's 14. They're at home, giving 14 to the Chiefs with a 49.5 point over under. John, are you tempted to take the Texans here, given what happened last week?
Yeah, I'm thinking of taking the points with Houston. Here's why, is because the Chiefs defense is also not that good neither. So I also think Houston's going to maybe score some points. Patrick Mahomes is going to absolutely destroy this defense. But Houston's going to put up some points because Kansas City's defense ain't all that great neither. So I'm going to go with Houston with the points. Give me the under.
Hey, this is one, right? Where is 14 too much? I don't know. I feel like given what happened with the Chiefs last week, that they're going to come out smashing. You know, I'll take them covering that 14, and I'll take the over.
I don't know what to do here. I will take the Texans at home covering 14 points and the under. Bears, Eagles. Bears are at home. 9-point home dogs to the cruising Eagles. 48.5-point over under. John, how do you feel about your Justin Fields?
Yeah, I'm going to go with, man, this is not going to be pretty. Philly's going to do what they want with this Chicago defense. So I feel absolutely bad for Justin Fields coming up because Justin Fields will score some points. So I'm going to go with the over on this game because I think that Justin Fields does just enough to go with the over for this game. And I'm going to go with the points with Chicago because they have Justin.
Does John have a man crush? Is it clouding his vision here?
I think when you play fantasy football and you pick up somebody who scores 40 plus points 4 weeks in a row, you have a little man crush, and rightfully so. No, I can't see them staying within 9. Philly's just unfair. So give me. But I agree. I think the over. I think Chicago will score some points. Just not enough. So give me Eagles laying that 9 and then the over here.
Same. The Eagles lay the 9 over. Eagles smash. The Bears defense can't handle the Eagles. This is another game where the Eagles are going to pull their starters in the fourth quarter. Steelers, Panthers. Panthers are at home. Panthers are the team that everybody hates to love because they're just gross, but they're winning games all of a sudden. 2.5-point favorites hosting the Steelers, 38.5-point over under.
I'm going to spice it up, and I'm going to go Steelers money line, fam.
Fair enough.
And I guess just take the over because it's fun.
Yeah, I'm going to actually go with the under in this game. Both of these defenses have actually been pretty underrated. Their offenses are not that good, both teams. But both these defenses are actually pretty decent over the last couple of weeks. They're actually the reason why to keep these teams in games. So I'm going to go with the under in this game. Ooh, the points is going to be a tough one for me. Give me Carolina.
I also will take Carolina with the points. I'll go with the fun over as well, just because it's a really low line. And 20 points-ish from each team, I could see that happening. Maybe defensive scores, something like that, special teams. Falcons going to New Orleans as 4.5-point underdogs with a 43.5-point over-under. This is a game that I will probably not be watching on any screen. John, are you going to watch this one on any screen or just check the box score later?
I will check this box score later for this, but this game does have who's going to win that damn division because, my goodness, every single team in that division is awful. Maybe this is a team that might show up in the playoffs. We don't know, but I definitely won't be watching this game, and I definitely won't be watching the box score. And the only thing I'm going to think about is if they're going to utilize Alvin Kamara at all.
I'm going to just do it because there is playoff implication, and I need it for my money line. Give me the Falcons money line. And
you need your antidote of money line.
Yeah, man. This one is.
I mean,
just sees a plus sign. He's like,
I can't not do it.
I guess I'll take the points with the Falcons. I don't really have a strong opinion on either one of these teams, but somebody presumably will win this game. It's not even a guarantee. Yeah, I just think that it's probable, and I'll take the under. Denver at home hosting the Cardinals. This Denver team stinks out loud, and the Cardinals just lost their quarterback Anthony is very excited to talk about Kyler Murray. 36-point over/under. Very low number here for these two offenses that are projected to struggle quite a bit.
Man, I don't know. I mean, Denver sucks. They played good last week.
Well
or
said.
at least Jerry Judy did. Russell Wilson got that little knot nipple on his head. You saw that?
No, I didn't watch this. Don't you thought you were gonna get me, but no, I didn't watch that fucking shit show.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me? I don't watch the
Hit
Denver
and
Broncos.
he has this lump on his head from the.
Yeah, well, he'll drink some nano bubbles and pray to God he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think you gotta stick with the under here, just because the Denver, as much as Denver sucks, their defense is like lights out almost.
Yeah, their offense is worse than the league. Their defense is Super Bowl caliber.
Crazy, like top 3. So, it's crazy. Arizona losing Kyler Murray, does not what you want. And to me, it's questions on how's that team gonna turn around and do anything. And this isn't the week you want to try and figure that out against one of the best defenses in the league. I'm gonna take whoever's getting points. So give me Cardinals getting points, and the under.
Yeah, the Denver Broncos team has been. I actually looked up the stat. They're one of the defenses that's been on the field like most in the NFL. Actually, over the last 4 weeks, they've actually given up over 20 points because they just can't stay off the field. And if you can't stay off the field, your defense gets tired. And recently, they've just been giving up points. And I think that that wear and tear, I don't care how good the defense is, if your offense can't stay on the field, then give your defense a break. Teams are going to score on you. So with that being said, even though the Arizona Cardinals do not have Kyler Murray, I'm going to go with moneyline Arizona because Denver is that bad.
That's actually not one of my money lines.
Yeah, see, that money line would have made a little more sense, at least, I think. I'm going to take the over in this game for a lot of what John just said regarding the offenses and the defenses. I think that Colt McCoy is capable enough to at least move the offense. He came in a really fucked up spot, but I think he'll be at least competent and move the offense somewhat. The Cardinals are going to have to kind of like rechange the plan. Denver, their offense like popped to life this past week. Their defense is legit, but as John mentioned, they do give up some points. So I'll take the over for that reason. And sure, moneyline Cardinals. Let's rock.
Wow.
Patriots, Raiders. Raiders are at home, 1 point underdogs with a 44.5 point over under.
Yeah, I'm actually going to I'm going to take the points with the Patriots because Belichick has McDaniel's number. So I just think that just coaching, it's going to go down to coaching. And Belichick is just the better coach because Josh McDaniels is just, I don't know. I'm going to give one more year to hold off on my judgment on Josh McDaniels, but it is not looking good. So I'm going to give me the points with the Patriots, and I'm going to go with the under.
That is a good call. I think I'm going to say Patriots and over. Anthony?
I'm going to say Raiders and over.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, listen, as much as we want to say it, they haven't been great, but nobody's been able to stop Jacobs or Devontae Adams. And, Belichick's one of the best guys to be able to stop your weapon. So can he stop both of them, though? I don't know. So I'll take them for getting 1 point. Sure.
The Patriots need to win in order to make the playoffs. So I think they're going to take special care to beat this team. Buccaneers, another team that's struggling to make the playoffs in that abysmal NFC South. Buccaneers are at home. They are underdogs by 3.5 points to the visiting Cincinnati Bengals, who are rolling. 44-point over under.
Yeah, I'm not feeling confident in Tampa Bay at all. However, there's one exception I'm going to make, is that also Cincinnati is also sometimes inconsistent. So with that being said, I'm going to go with the points with Tampa Bay. I think that Tampa Bay really, really needs to win. This is crunch time for a Tom Brady-led team. And I'm going to go with the over I think Tampa Bay scores some points in this game. I think also Cincinnati. But give me the points with the Bucks, and let me go with the over.
Ooh, spicy. Anthony?
Yeah, it's too spicy. I'm gonna say the Bengals laying at 3.5, and the over for sure. They've been struggling hard. Cincinnati has been like hot and cold, but too many weapons for me on that team, and a younger, fresher quarterback. Still going up against the GOAT. He is the GOAT for that reason, but not today.
I will say Bengals laying the points. I will say over. Tennessee visiting the Los Angeles Chargers, the Los Angeles Superchargers. It doesn't sound as good as San Diego Superchargers.
No, it doesn't.
They're 3-point home favorites hosting the Titans, 47-point over under. This is interesting. Very, very interesting. The Titans have been, I don't know what they have been lately. John, what have they been? What have they been?
Yeah, they've just been kind of up and down. They're a team that if they don't get the run game going, it's pretty much the offense is a little bit stale. They're just really up and down. But for the most part, they are a consistent team. I think they're a little bit better coached than the LA Chargers. But the Chargers of recently have been really impressing me. They got Mike Williams, Eckler, and Keenan Allen back, so the offense has been clicking on all cylinders. Especially at the end of games, I really like what I see from Herbert. Also, the defense is starting to make a couple of plays themselves. So, with that being said, I think just Tennessee's just the better team. I'm going to go with the points with Tennessee, and I'm going to go with the over. I think that there's going to be some points scored for both teams.
I can't believe John's disrespecting the Chargers like that. Unacceptable. Chargers laying that 3 with the over. Derrick Henry is a monster, and he's going to be the only problem they have to worry about, in my opinion. The Chargers defense coming into this year was like supposed to be very good, and it hasn't been as good as it was supposed to be, but I just can't.
Never is. It never is. The Chargers, every preseason, the Chargers are darlings, and every point of this season, Chargers are the team who are like, oh, they were supposed to be.
Yeah. Everybody's, the corners. They're going to lock down. They have lockdown corners and all this shit. I was like, all right, well, they do have all of their weapons fresh and healthy, and that was a concern and a problem throughout the year. So I think they are going to be the problem now in this game. So give me them Chargers.
I'll take the Chargers as well, laying the 3 points, but I am not super confident about it. I'm going to take the under. And the reason is because I just question whether the Titans can score points. I just think their passing offense is questionable without Treylon Burks. It all depends to me if Burks can play. If Burks can play and they have that like explosive playmaker in the passing offense, that I think changes everything for them. They need at least one like stud to make it go, because otherwise Tannehill isn't going to just elevate Nick Westbrook-Ikine. You know what I mean? That's just not going to happen.
Tan on a hill.
Bobby Trees is not a number one, so you need that guy to make the thing work. When Burks was starting to get into the groove, Tannehill looked good, everything started to flow, and then all of a sudden Burks goes out, and here we are again. So I'll take the Chargers, but I'm hopeful, because if Burks plays, I think that changes a lot. Sunday night, Washington Commanders divisional game hosting the New York Giants. The Commanders are 4.5-point home favorites with a 40.5-point over under.
I'm a little upset Chase Young's going to play this game, but
he had to play eventually. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He's been about to play for like 7 weeks.
Well, hopefully he's not about to play this week. But the Giants and these guys faced off will be 2 weeks ago in a really disappointing overtime. Hopefully
a 20-20 tie.
Yeah, and where the spread was exactly what it is right now. The spread was 40.5, and it tied at a 20-20, those assholes. But for this week, I'm going to take
and the money line pushed, which is egregious.
Oh, I'm just absolutely retarded. Special, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to take the over here this time, and I'm going to take the Giants money line.
Oh, baby. How about you, John?
I am not going to take the money line. Enough. All right. Of recently, I've been like, got faith in these Giants, and they've disappointed me. So I'm not doing money line. Stay away from them. With that being said, yes, I do think this is going to be one of those 20 games or one of those. So I'm going to go with the under in this game. But I am going to lay the points with the Giants. This game is close. So I'm going to lay the points with the Giants.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, see, I am going to lay the points with the Commanders, with the Commandeers in this game. I think that this is like a loser leaves town, make it or break it. The team that wins this game has a legitimate shot at the playoffs. The team that loses this game is not. And if I had to be honest with myself and see which one of these teams is a playoff team right now, it's the Commanders, not the Giants. So I'll take the Commanders and lay the points, and I will go over also.
So what you're saying, the Giants are throwing this game for the pick. Got it.
No, I don't think they need to throw it. I just think that like the style of offense that they play, they like, for example, last week, as soon as they played the Eagles last week, right? As soon as the Eagles were up 21 points, I was telling the people I was watching with that the game is over, and it wasn't even halftime because the Giants offense just simply is not equipped to score that many points in a game. Like they just don't score that many points. I was like, because they were up 21 and they were about to score again, and I was like, if they score this touchdown, the game is over, and I'm fucked in fantasy because my players are coming out in the third quarter, and that is exactly what happened because the Giants aren't equipped to score that many points. Maybe next year, after a really solid draft, they're devoid of skill positions. They've built the team the right way from the inside out. There's no doubt they're doing the right things, but they do not have skill positions at quarterback, running back. Well, in the running back they do. Quarterback, receiver, tight end.
They might not have that next year.
Okay, well, whatever that is, you can get running backs, but the point is they need to have a very skill position rich, productive draft and offseason and free agency in order to complement the team that they're building and be able to be a legitimate competitor next year, in my opinion. So I'll take the Commanders and I'll take the over. Monday night to close out the week, Packers-Rams. This game is definitely the sad bowl, and the Packers are at home. They're 7-point favorites to the hapless, hopeless Rams. 39.5-point over-under. My, how things have changed. John, how do you feel?
Oh, boy. I'm going to go with the points with Green Bay, but I'm going to go with the under. Both these teams just struggle to score points. This is just ugly. I don't even know if I'm going to watch this game on Monday because it's just that ugly. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the point. Give me the points with Green Bay, and I'm going to go with the under.
I'm going to go with the points with the Rams and the over, switching up on Johnny Boy. Baker Mayfield, guys. Come on, let's be real.
Well, the thing about it is I think that with Baker Mayfield there, he's at least a competent NFL quarterback. And this is the best head coach he's ever had in probably his life.
I think, out of all the teams he's played on, this is his best setup and position to be in.
Yeah, I mean, but with the skill position players being all banged up.
Cooper Kupp, I would love to see how this would be,
Well, sure. And you know what? With the way Stafford is banged up, if Baker puts together a nice resume and he hits it off with McVay, you might get to see that next year. Like, not for them because
he's very happy and was wanted him for some reason.
Allegedly. And so they're in cap hell right now. They don't have draft picks. They don't have anything. So if this works out, that's a pot of gold for them. However, I don't know, 7 points. That's kind of a lot with the Packers. I'll take the Rams and take the 7 points, but give me the over in this one, 39.5. Both teams will be a little on the frisky side. I don't see either one of these defenses being world beaters, so I'll take the over, and I'll take the Rams keeping it closer than 7 points, and that'll do it. That'll do it, fellas, for this week's NFL games. I'll put my 3-pick parlay in right now because I got it on my screen. I'm going to go Cleveland Browns, and I'm going to take that weird one plus 100 there. I'm going to lay the 3 points with the Browns. I'm going to take the Eagles and lay the 9, and I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals on the money line plus 778.
You know what I'm about.
Money line madness.
Oh, shake it off. So I got Pittsburgh, Atlanta, and New York Giants for a plus 1663, fam.
Jesus Christ.
That's when you know you're gambling.
Yeah, that's when you know you might need to call 1-800-GAMBLER. John, what's your parlay?
Yeah, I'm going to take the points with Minnesota, the points with Miami, and the points with Houston.
Plus 553.
Very 553.
Unexciting, but hey, look, we're still looking for a winner here. So I'll take unexciting because it will get real exciting real quick if he wins. Speaking of real exciting, let's take a look at our 3-man DK lineups from last week. In third place on DK this week was Jonny Ortiz, who's still walking around on his new legs, trying to figure out this whole DFS thing. Zay Jones had a really nice day, and pretty much everybody else was underwhelming. Garrett Wilson, Ezekiel Elliott was reasonable, I suppose. Joe Mixon, Mike White, just underwhelming. 107.92. In second place was myself. I had Jalen Hurts, who had a big day. Tony Pollard had a really nice day. AJ Brown, reasonable, but they took their foot off the gas in the middle of the third quarter. Brendan Ayuk, and it was just okay. Not really great. 114.98. Not a tremendous score this week. And in first place, our winner, Anthony, 129.7. He had Jared Goff. He had Richie James Jr., which was a really nice play. He also had Zeke. He had Nick Westbrook-Akine. He had TJ Hawkinson. He's in love with TJ Hawkinson right now. He's making out with pictures of TJ Hawkinson, like magazine cutouts. And with that, he wins. One more win. Hey, look, whatever works, pal.
A win's a win. Goes a long way.
That's right. A win is a win. And so now let's take a look. Speaking of a win is a win, and let's take a look back at the final week of the regular season in the Always Sunday Fantasy Football League. Let me tell you, we had ourselves the most disgusting, despicable, disgraceful, disrespectful display of quitting in the history of our league. We'll talk about that in our GOAT segment. We have our playoff seeds locked in. So before we recap our GOATs and our heroes, congratulations to PB&J for clinching the number 1 overall seed first round bye. Nice job. Congratulations, Johnny. The second seed goes to the Golden Showers, who won the Baldwin division and had the overall most points scored in the league. The Sweep the Leg was the 3rd overall seed. Gotham Rogues is 4th. Drunken Bums 5th. And 11 Amateurs, 1 Pro 6th. So we'll probably discuss a little bit of that in the Hero and the GOAT segment. So, Johnny, why don't you just talk about your GOAT right up front?
Yeah, I'm going to just talk about it right up front. My GOAT for this week, and this very despicable, I'm very disappointed in a former champion himself, the Toddler Fight Club. He started a guy which we knew earlier in the week he was going to be out. 4 days ago, it was just, he was ruled out a very long time ago. Sunday football happened. We all knew Jacoby Myers wasn't going to play. No movement on his part. He could have just dropped Jacoby Myers and started Tyquan Thornton and probably beat me, or Nelson Aguilar or Kendrick Bourne, any receiver basically on the waiver wire for New England, just to sub in to beat PB&J and end his 7-week game win streak. But unfortunately, other things are more important than fantasy, apparently. Or you can't change your lineup for some apparent reason. So disappointing you, Tower Fight Club, you know better. You are my GOAT, and do better, because this is the second year in a row you finished in last place. And again, soft. Bye. Next.
Just gonna say for the record, John let him off easy.
Yeah, very, very easy. John has stuck to his very nice, kind platform on this
Sir,
this
you are an
podcast.
absolute butthead. I don't know if anybody's ever told you.
Yeah. You, sir, are a disappointment.
Yeah. My GOAT
Let's
is
keep it.
the lowest scoring person of the week. The Drunken Bums. Homeboy, who is a playoff person, scores an 86.5. Best scoring position was your defense, not what you want. You can't control Kyler Murray going down in the game and leaving you with under a point, but you can totally control something else here, guys. This is just all I'm looking at is single digit, single digit, single digit, single digit, single. Oh, look, double digit, single digit, single digit. So for that, you are my GOAT, sir. Even though it didn't matter, unfortunately, and as we spoke about this before, there wasn't like too many games where we have that option. But yeah, if you're in the playoffs and you don't break 100, you're my GOAT, man. My GOAT.
Yeah, it's true. No, it's true. He definitely finished the season about as disappointingly as John would put it as you could. Still makes the playoffs. We'll talk about that in a minute. Now, John already touched on not only the GOAT of the week, but the GOAT of our entire, like the most GOATy thing that's ever been done in the history of our league, and the way that it was handled is the GOAT of all time. There's never been a more GOAT than John's GOAT for this week. He redefined what it means to be the week's GOAT. But Team Blumpkin this week, in a must-win, back against the wall, win or go home, his playoffs started this week, could only muster 102.78 points in his matchup with the Gotham Rogues. And the Gotham Rogues scored a 137.3, which is good, about league average. We'll get to that, but not insurmountable. Team Blumpkin, 102.78, puts up a team where Josh Allen scored 20 points, Tyler Lockett had 17, and then the rest of his team was just an utter disappointment. Even Kelsey only had 11. Single digits across the board otherwise. It was just a terrible disappointment. Now, not only did he lose the game, dropping his record to 6-8 and losing out on a playoff spot that would have been guaranteed with a win based on his record, but he also scored enough, or few enough points with just 102.78, where he missed the playoffs by, I believe, 9 points. Let's see. Yeah, 9.4 points. He missed the playoffs by 9.4 points, everybody. Yes. So he could have lost this game, finished 6-8, but because he still held a points lead going into the week, a pretty significant points lead going into the week, but 11 amateurs scored 146 this week. He scored 102. Okay. So the 11 amateurs scored 44 more points than him and still only surpassed him by 9.4 for the year. And the Blumpkin misses the playoffs and goes home as the first team out in the last week of the season, losing in a double loss because he lost the game and his record put him out. And then he scored just so few points that his points put him out. And he was double out on the last week of the season in just totally blunderous fashion. And for that,
Playoffs? You talking playoffs?
It's like dying, getting resurrected, and then getting shot in the face.
And for that, Team Blumpkin is my GOAT.
Gosh, man.
And that would have been the GOAT. That would have been one of the most crushing GOATs of the year, if not for what Toddler Fight Club did this week. That's like when you really break it down. When I really stood back and looked at it, I was like, wait a second. And I looked in the points.
Well, that's why I said what I said. That's why when we were choosing heroes, I was like, I can't believe nobody said me, because I thought I had kicked 11 amateurs out of the playoffs. But the Blumpkin kicked himself out.
Yes, that is correct. Like, because then, not again,
I would have been good enough to knock somebody out, but not this week.
Yeah, so he had multiple. He had at least 2 to 3 players on his 3 to 4 players on his bench that he could have dropped, 4 to 5 players on his bench that he could have dropped very easily.
He could have picked up Chris Moore this week.
He could have dropped Philip Dorsett. He could have dropped Tyler Algier on a bye. He could have dropped Alec Pierce on a bye. He could have dropped Mike Boone without even questioning it, and picked up players who would have, could have contributed. I mean, he missed the playoffs by 9.4 points. He could have lost the game and still made the playoffs, but he only scored a 102. That's painful. That's painful. And for that, Blumpkin's my goat.
All right, so my hero for the week is going to be the Gotham Rogues, because the Gotham Rogues also sealed the deal to put the Blumpkin in the situation that he's in. Obviously, a huge pickup. Made the pickup of the week, picking up Jared Goff with 33.1 points, and James Conner. As soon as Kyler came down, it became the James Conner show. Absolutely stomping all over the New England Patriots. And just not too crazy of the rest of his team, but that waiver pickup for Jared Goff got him over the top, got him the victory, and put Blumpkin in a bad spot, and then Blumpkin just basically beat himself. So Rogues, great job on knocking out the former number one, holding the division down, Blumpkin, for a couple of weeks, and just absolutely knocking him down, securing that playoff spot. He did it last week, but just the Rogues absolutely just killing it so far. So great job on just managing your team. I'm going to give you my hero for just great job on managing your team when injuries happen.
Speaking of great job managing your team, before I go and make the few jokes, PBJ has done a very, very good job managing his team, right? He's been a couple huge pickups. If he doesn't pick up Justin Fields, his season's different. If he doesn't pick up that defense that week that scores 35 points. So as much as I want to say, and I will say, that John has been very lucky this year, he has made some very good moves and has done a very good job managing his team. And he's the 11-3, he's the best record, number one overall. So you've earned that. But that is not me saying that you didn't have any motherfucking luck on your side. Okay. Okay. So we got to check the stats. We got to see how many in one season of closest games won by or whatever. But our first overall seed scores a 107.5. Not what you want. He's got a 0 in there, but luck and a negative. A 0 and a negative. And wins this game because he's lucky enough to go against an asshole that doesn't look at their team just because they're in last place and they can't take 2 minutes to make a few moves, and has 3 fucking zeros. 3 fucking zeros and loses by 7 points. 3 fucking zeros. Anybody else has 3 zeros and they're going against them, they're winning by 100 points, but John always keeps it close. But with all the funniness and said and the luck, whatever, you were lucky, but you've done your job at managing your team. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. A win is a win. And you, my friend, have won 11 times, and you are my hero.
Yes, the statistics on John's team are mind-boggling. Before we get to that, we'll talk about my hero, and that's Omar, the team I played against. He was in last place going into this game, and he had his second best game of the season, and he scored the most points of the week by quite a lot. His team just completely exploded. Jerry Jeudy had his best game of his career. Miles Sanders had one of his best games of the season so far. Your boy Donovan Peoples-Jones, who had the best game of his career on this day. So yeah, a lot of career days out of random players on this Omar's last place team to score a 173 in the final week of the season and win his meaningless game with his otherwise completely dog shit team that did nothing for the entire rest of the season. That is heroic. That is why
That is-
Omar is my hero. It's just absolutely stunning what happened over the last the statistics of the way John's season went and the statistics of the way my season went. You know, Anthony's season, you could chalk it up to injuries. Why did Anthony's season get fucked up? Injuries, cause, effect. Very simple. But if you look at the actual statistics, like the numbers of John's season don't make sense. Like you can't chalk it up to just like injuries or this, that. You can't like mathematically explain how John's 11-3, but his point differential over 11 wins is less than 4 points. And his point differential over the full season is almost nothing. But he's 11-3 because he just ended up lucking into, as Anthony said, this. He just ended up being in the right situation. When he had a bad game, he played against the team with the worst game. He made some great waiver wire pickups, but he won games where fucking Justin Fields scored 40 some odd points and the rest of his team didn't do anything. You know, the rest of his team scored like 80 and then Justin Fields scored enough to peak him over the top and let him win the game. So the statistics of that are uncanny, but 11 wins is 11 wins. On the other side of the coin, the league average score per game this year for all teams was a 133.28. Only 5 teams averaged more points than that. John was not one of those teams, obviously. The average was 133.28. Sweep the Leg scored 150 or more points 3 weeks in a row for the last 3 weeks of the season. The list of other teams that scored at least 150 points all 3 weeks of the 3 weeks of the season.
No one.
And so with that, Sweep the Leg scored 150 plus in 3 straight weeks and went 1-2 over that span because in 2 out of the 3 games, they played the highest scoring team in the league. So talk about getting fucked in some shitty situations. This is the second highest scoring team in the league who ran into the highest scoring team in the league. The only other team in the league who ran into the highest scoring team in the league as much as me, the Sizzler. The Sizzler played the highest scoring team in the league 3 times. Sweep the Leg played the highest scoring team in the league 3 times. Beer Muscles played the highest scoring team twice, and no other team played the highest scoring team more than once. Sizzler, injuries, and yes, faced the 3 biggest scores, 3 of the biggest scores. Sweep the Leg right there. Handshake. Sweep the Leg, Sizzler, handshake. Facing the highest scoring team in the league every fucking week. And so in the last, and here's the worst part about this whole thing. Danny Mac ends up losing on the Ramondre Stevenson injury by less than a point. Johnny Ortiz ends up winning on Toddler Fight Club's negligence. So Danny got screwed over by an injury in the last week, and Johnny was the beneficiary of somebody just being a complete piece of shit. So right up until the end of the season, every other team was getting fucked over while John was just getting lucky as hell. Every other team. It's ridiculous the way things have shaped up. However, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, the playoff seeding is Johnny, PB&J number 1, the Golden Showers, the prohibitive highest scoring team in the league at number 2, and then we have our 2 first round divisional round matchups, the quarterfinals, which we're about to break down. Are you fellas ready to take on the 3-6 matchup of Sweep the Leg versus 11 amateurs, 1 pro? We have the 9-5 Sweep the Leg, the second highest scoring team in the league and the 3rd seed in the playoffs, facing off against the last seed in the playoffs, 6-8, 11 amateurs, 1 pro. During the regular season, Sweep the Leg averaged 148.78 points, and 11 amateurs averaged 137.84 points, both teams above league average. 11 amateurs, 1 pro. Starting whoever they're starting right now. He definitely did set his lineup because I checked, and his lineup was set before the games were over, before the final games were over.
So I think the thing that jumps out to me the most is the quarterback play between Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. I think it's going to boil down to the quarterback. I obviously right here, I would say that sweep the leg. This is going to be a really tight matchup. I have that the score is going to be 150-ish to about 140, so about a 10-point win for the sweep the leg. And the biggest difference is going to be it's going to be Godwin, DeAndre Hopkins, and just you cannot stop this kid named Christian McCaffrey. And I think McCaffrey and Jalen Hurts is the two guys that are going to get you over the hump. And 11 amateurs might have a little bit of an advantage, maybe in the flex position, maybe in the RB2-ish, but it's just going to be too much to overcome. And that's going to boil down to the performance of Jalen Hurts and especially Christian McCaffrey. And sweep the leg wins this matchup.
I agree. I think this is going to be like juicy-ish. It depends on how sweep the legs team shows up, right? He has been a very unlucky man this year. But when you're breaking down, looking at it left and right, you can call the Hurts-Mahomes situation, call that a squash, right? Say they both score the same. And you got A.J. Brown and Justin Jefferson. Like, I give that to Justin Jefferson, all right? But not by much. And then you go Godwin, Pickens, you give me Godwin. You go Hopkins, Olave, give me Hopkins. McCaffrey, Pollard, give me McCaffrey. Jones, Walker, give me a squash there. Let me squash tight ends just for nothing, but I think Njoku has a better day. But just to keep it a little exciting. And then for the flex positions, your ATN, who has been, what you want, but then kind of like died out the past few weeks. If he shows up, this is not going to be a close game. But give me ETN and then Treylon Burks and Elijah Moore. That's going to be fun to see, right? Because I think like Burks is their only receiver. Elijah Moore, not, but just going against Detroit. But I still give me Burks. I think the sweep the leg should win this game by like 30 points. But because of how shit plays and it's fantasy football on any given Sunday, I think it's going to be a little closer than that. But sweep the leg.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to obviously comment on who I think should win versus who will win. I can say that Hopkins certainly loses value with the injury of Kyler Murray. Travis Etienne has been absolutely deleted from the Jacksonville offense. They just simply don't like, he's just not a factor anymore. I mean, if you look, he's got 13 carries and 17 carries, but those 17 carries, he had like 9 carries for most of the game, and then they just gave him a bunch of carries in garbage time, but they were just like poorly blocked, run up your center's asshole. There's nothing going on here, plays to just run out the clock. So ATN has really been deleted from the offense, and I really have no confidence in him, unfortunately. Burks, I'm not even really sure he's going to play, so he's in there right now. I do have Sutton, who might not even play. Like, injuries have really like smashed my team here at the end of the season when you don't want them to. So I'm kind of not really confident in a couple of the positions, but we'll see what happens. And again, Walker was dealing with an ankle injury where people were saying he might not even play this week, but now suddenly he doesn't have an injury designation. So we'll see about that. Johnson had been battling injury, so he's got certainly some question marks. Pickens, Olave is talented, but hasn't been consistent. Elijah Moore is in a great spot, matchup wise. I think he'd be good for DFS. This is just a situation where his players, he could have a couple players just like really blow up, and I could have a bunch of players really shit the bed, which I think is pretty likely to happen here. So I'm actually going to say that sweep the leg loses this game just because something wacky happens. And like I said, like somebody has a shitty game. Like Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown are not going to play more than 3 quarters. So I lose there as well. Like that's another shitty thing. Like they're too good for fantasy, the Eagles, where like the starters don't play. I think that sweep the leg actually loses this game. The other game we're going to take a look at is the 4-5 matchup. Bums and the Rogues.
Well, as of right now, the Bums lost Murray, and their backup is Derek Carr, which is, not what you want, but I've seen worse. And then you have the Rogues, who's got Goddard on IR in there, so they need to pick up a tight end, and maybe they go out there and pick up Evan Ingram.
Goddard is, although you might be right, he might spend some money. I don't know if he has any fab, but Goddard is supposed to be activated this week. I've heard that he's supposed to be activated. But again, I also heard that Kenneth Walker might not play, so don't trust me.
Right, but I mean, as of right now, he's a well, we know for sure Murray's dead, but the Goddard situation, maybe he's still going to have to pick up something for a God forbid. He has no, so that would, and I don't think
he has Foster Moreau on his bench.
He has all right. Maybe he does that. I don't think he has much fab left because I think he
has no money. He has no money.
He spent like $75 on Connor, which has helped him for sure, but he definitely spent all his money. I think the Rogues wins this. The Bums has a couple good players, right? Like Stephon Diggs. If him and Kirk both have 40-point days, well, Diggs more likely than Kirk. That changes everything. That's pretty much it for me. I don't, other than that, I can't see it. The Bums there's too many other players, too many better overall team. That 3 wide receivers, Adams, Metcalf, and Wilson is better than Diggs, Kirk, and Palmer. Palmer's dead now. Everybody on the Chargers is back. He's irrelevant, in my opinion, and everybody else is. And he's starting 2 tight ends again. So, statistically, that's never worked. Never. You'll catch it like last week if you had Evan Ingram and your tight end. Yes. But statistically, if you start 2 tight ends, you're losing. Maybe you're winning if it's Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews, but then that means the rest of your team sucks. So, yes, you're going to lose because you started 2 tight ends so many times, and I'm upset you're in the fucking playoffs, fam. Drunken bum.
Yeah, I don't think the Drunken Bums even scores 100 points in this game, and I don't think the Gotham Rogues might have that great of a week himself. It's not ideal to have Jared Goff going against the Jets. Devontae Adams, I would say that his wide receivers are pretty strong. Nick Chubb is Nick Chubb, and James Conner is going to get his work, and he's got Isaiah Pacheco. Let's see what happens with that tight end position. I just think that the Rogues has enough firepower just to get past the lowly Bums because it's just not looking good for the Bums.
Dude, you ever play with a bunch of kids? You're playing basketball and there's 4 or 5 little kids around. They might score a couple because there's 4 or 5 of them, but you're shitting all over them. That is this game.
I think the Gotham Rogues should win this game pretty easily. I mean, I don't really have much more analysis than that. They're just head and shoulders a better team. The Bums record does not reflect how flimsy of a team they are. But 7-7 is not obviously a good record. It's sad that we have a 7-7 and a 6-8 team in the playoffs this year. That's more of an indictment on the other teams, though, so it's not their fault. They're in. But yeah, this is a mismatch. This is a mismatch up and down. This is the most mismatched 4-5 you could possibly have. The 3-6 is more evenly matched than this 4-5, in my opinion. I think that the 11 Amateurs has a way better chance of winning his game than the Bums have of winning their game. That's my opinion. So I think it's the Rogues easily. So I
agree with that statement for sure.
Yeah, I think that the way I see it as a 1-6 matchup and a 2-4 matchup. So I see the Golden Showers facing off with the Rogues and PB&J facing off with 11 Amateurs. You guys have the much anticipated 2-3 matchup between Sweep the Leg and the Golden Showers, and you have the Rogues facing off against PBJ. And that's going to be the league wrap. What we'll do is obviously break down the playoffs as they move along, and then we'll take a look at the final game, the final week. And obviously I have a couple of plans for how we can proceed once the fantasy season is over. Some shows, some ideas, some topics. It's finally here. The playoffs are here, and I will be stressing starting Thursday. The games go throughout the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I will see you guys next week, where it's always Sunday.